I didn't think the pain from the shingles rash would affect simple, everyday tasks like bathing, getting dressed, or even walking around. I was wrong. Though not everyone at risk will develop it, 99% of people over the age of 50 already have the virus that causes shingles, and it could reactivate at any time. I developed it, and the blistering rash lasted for weeks. Don't learn the hard way, like I did. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today. Sponsored by GSK.
A short trip here can give you a long-haul holiday here. Collect Avios on your everyday spending and jet off to somewhere special. Sign up to the British Airways Club and collect Avios on your daily commute, online shopping and groceries. Then spend your Avios on flights, car hire, hotels and more. Your everyday can pay for your holiday. Start collecting today. Search Avios. T's and C's apply.
Pay attention. The ferry leaves at 10 a.m. Roads are busy.
Great.
Dad, pack the boot.
Yeah.
Rosie, got your teddy?
Uh-huh.
Honey, how's the car?
Windows clean, car wax
I
covered.
meant the tyres.
Oh, sorted them at Quick Fit last week.
Brilliant.
Planning the perfect getaway this summer? Make sure your tyres are up for the job. Book today at quickfit.com or your local centre. Quick Fit. Drive away happy every time.
Are you a lifelong fan of General Hospital?
Are you a new fan who wants to know more about the history of the show?
Do you enjoy talking about the show with others?
Do you find yourself yelling at the TV?
Is your self-care an hour a day in Port Charles?
If so, we invite you to join hosts
Amanda Kimmel
and Shannon Coach at the place where all the hidden conversations take place and secrets are revealed.
Meet us at Pier 54,
A General Hospital fan podcast.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to the General Hospital recap for July 29th through August 2nd, 2024. Oh, wow. Yeah.
I'm not ready.
No.
No, August is way too much. Back to school, blah, blah, blah. I'm not ready.
Right.
So,
like, could they not do this to our emotions in July?
yes.
You know,
Exactly.
like that's when that should be happening. Guys, just don't do heavy storylines in August. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, no. We have talked many times about you're supposed to have the good cliffhanger generating the interesting storyline to capture the teens during the summer, you know?
Right.
And we didn't have one this year.
No.
And this is more young adult, but still it's not something that probably would really capture teens, but we'll get to that. Did you notice that Brennan was in the opening credits this week?
I did. I was mad.
We'll just cut to the Port Charles. We'll get to the Port Charles pipeline. Brennan is in the credits.
I was mad. I was like,
why?
Because he was supposed to be gone.
But I like him. I think that his character is so complex. I think that there is so much more, like we talked about last week, where, you know, when he talked to Carly about, you know, you have to possibly hurt people you love or whatever it was, you know, you have to leave them behind. I think that there's a whole thing there.
I'm not saying that there's not a whole storyline there, and I'm interested to see where it goes. But it was like the first day or the second day back, and he was in the opening credits, and I was like, "No, you do not get that spot yet. Knock it off."
But you know who's not? Agent Cates.
Right?
He's not in it.
Nope.
So there's that. We did get a few emails. Just a real quick one from Ashley. I would love to know where the docks and the waterfront are. Yeah, us too.
Mm-hmm.
No idea. MIA.
It's like, because no one's going to Spoon Island anymore. We don't need the docks.
Right. And then I'm not going to share name just because it's probably personal, but the subject is Pittsburgh ? And, you know, you guys send us emails whenever you're in town or you live here, you know, whatever. Hello, GH Watcher and follower of your podcast. Which one of us is a real estate agent? I'm really thinking about moving there.
Ah, nice.
Seriously, guys, if you want to move to Pittsburgh, if you are in Pittsburgh and you want to move, seriously, reach out. We're going to have so much fun talking about GH when we do this.
I want to come with you on the showing so we can talk GH as we're showing houses.
Probably can't because there are the rules that have not been strictly followed by a lot of agents are now finable.
Oh, geez.
I'm happy about this because
I mean, I'm happy that they're making people follow rules because, yes, you're supposed to follow rules, but I'm unhappy that you have to follow that rule then, because I want to go look at houses and talk.
Yeah, you would not be allowed to come with us. Sorry.
Ah.
But I don't know. If they move to Pittsburgh, then we have a new friend.
That would be awesome.
So, yeah, you might miss out on the showings, but you'll get the lifelong friendship. I've already decided that we're going to be friends. I'm sorry if I'm creeping you out right now. Listen, if you've been listening to our podcast and you've reached out to me about this, you're already aware of what you're getting into.
Exactly. We're already friends if they are podcast listeners.
Exactly. But no, I would absolutely love to. That's exciting too.
That is.
And we are on Zoom today pretty much because I have been crazy busy all morning fielding calls and text messages. So this was just going to be easier for both of us. And we are going to postpone doing the next part of Bobby, which would have been part 8. Sorry.
Oh, geez.
This week's Port Charles 411 is instead going to be about Stone Capes, because this week we'll just start mini storyline. We're not going to totally get into storyline right now, but
because Agent Kate's crossed a line.
And said that Sonny dropped him and dropped Karen. And we're going to prove that theory wrong. With this week's, we're going to revisit and reshare our 411 about Stone. So, we love reminding of past storylines and how things actually happened.
Yep.
And especially with something like that, because there is plenty enough to not like about Sonny.
Right.
Let's not make one of the best things about him be bad.
Mm-hmm.
We already reshared shortly after John came back to Port Charles. We reshared Karen's pill addiction.
Right.
Because the way that John was talking about it is not how it happened.
Nope.
And Sonny to this day still regrets any part of that. So,
right.
But what we have not done is done the full revisit of our 411 with Stone. So that's going to be this week. I think that's it. Do you have anything?
Nope.
Okay. I guess news-wise, it was kind of a slow week, but not so much on the show.
No.
So for Hulu headlines, Dante pleads with Sonny. Carly receives an offer. Jason visits the PCPD. By the way, okay, I say it like every single week. I love how Jason's changed.
Mm-hmm.
And he showed up in a suit with a blue shirt that matched his eyes, or popped out his eyes. Very
popped out
handsome.
his eyes? No.
Popped out. Made his
brought out his eyes.
Yep, that's it.
Maybe
TJ
popped out your eyes because you were like, woo!
TJ is flummoxed. Alexis addresses an important matter with Kristina. On Tuesday, Carly has her day in court. Things get heated between Sonny and John. Anna makes a shocking discovery. Nina is grateful to Willow, and Alexis counsels Molly. I don't like the word counsels because that sounds like legal.
Right. No, that was definitely a mom-daughter talk. Like they do discuss legal things here and there, but that whole conversation was mom-daughter and no way legal.
And I just double-checked because I was like, oh, maybe it says consoles. No, it says counsels.
Okay.
On Wednesday, Sonny won't listen to reason. Anna shares a theory with Jason. Ava gets bad news. Kristina and Molly hash things out. John makes an offer. And then on Thursday, Alexis is put on the spot. Molly confides in Sam. Brooklyn makes a pitch to Blaze. Sonny lashes out. Kristina is on the warpath. And Trina gets an eyeful. And then Friday, Jocelyn leaps to action. Dante makes an arrest. TJ gets alarming news. Sonny alienates a friend. And a medical crisis devastates a family. So, do we just kind of want to stick with Jagger, John?
Yeah,
a little bit?
Works.
Because on Monday is when we kind of picked up with, can we stop having the same exact conversations with Jason?
Nope. We just have to keep repeating it over and over and over again. You care about Carly, so give me Sonny, and then she'll go free. No, I've told you 400 times. I'm not turning in Sonny. Blah, 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 blah.
But I did like that Jason said, you targeted me because you knew that I would not remember you from high school. And you knew that you knew who I was in high school. Oh my gosh, you're in your 50s. Let high school go. But like, if you're above 25, guys, let high school go. It's ideally, it should be let go after you graduate, but it can be tough to hold on. Like, yeah. But if you've got issues from high school, let it go. This is your PSA.
There you go.
Make peace with it. Let it go. And now I have let it go in my head.
I was going to say, okay, Elsa.
But I think that this is the first time that Jason specifically called him out on using his badge for obviously personal reasons, because I guess it doesn't really change, because eventually Anna, because then after that, John goes to the PCPD and sees Anna, but it's like a day or two later. I think it was like Tuesday, Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, never mind. We can't get there yet. We'll get there in a moment, because something else happened before that. But wasn't it Jason telling him, by the way, I told Sonny that you're targeting him? I think that was like the big difference was.
Right.
Jason's like,
It's all out in the open now, dude.
You didn't hold up your end of the bargain. So I went ahead and told Sonny what you are doing.
Right. I think Jagger was most shocking this week with his ridiculousness with Molly. Like, okay, we see him fight with Sonny all the time, and we see him have the same conversation with Anna and Jason all the time. But he summons Molly to the courthouse.
He didn't summon Molly. He asked for an ADA.
Are you sure? Because she said on the phone, was I requested personally? And then she was like, okay, I'll get there.
She did ask that. I was under the impression that it happened to be the luck of the draw, and he was just hoping to get somebody, like one of the ADAs, thinking that they would just do it.
I would assume that if he knew Molly was the ADA, that he would, if he was she was part of it, that he wouldn't want her because he would be concerned about her protecting. But she did ask before she went in, was I directly requested? So that made me think that she was. But
then he didn't know who she was. So if he specifically requested her, because she wound up having, let's just jump to that, because he was asking for all of Sonny's records.
Right.
And she's like, so that's not how this works. And we don't just keep records by person, which why don't they, to be honest? That's a whole other thing. And she's like, and you know that the process is you have to ask either the commissioner or the DA directly. And I don't have that authority to do this. And then he's talking about because then she said, he's my uncle. And that's when he's like, oh, so now you're protecting him. He didn't know that she was Sonny's niece. So why would he request her personally if he didn't know that?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't know. I just found it odd that she asked that question. And then she was like, okay, yeah, I guess I'll go.
And even if he didn't know that, there's a whole bunch of these people just got to start looking up family trees.
Right. But
you would know by now, everyone's related to everybody.
Yes. But then she says, I'm not protecting Sonny. If you want to bring proper charges against Sonny and request information properly, I will be more than happy to get it for you. But no, you don't just get to demand papers. You have to fill out the requests, which totally made sense as they went further on about the whole chain of custody and whatever. Like, yeah, we need to know who's looking at what so that we know who has this information. But he like totally flies off the handle and is like, oh, would you do anything for Sonny too? Would you take your clothes off for him? And I thought, okay, first of all, you just established that that's her uncle. So you're like extra ew. And how did that even come about? Like, that has nothing to do with anything. She's simply saying she won't give you papers. She's not saying everything Sonny does is correct and wonderful and whatever. And so I was happy to see that then Sonny did jump in and was like, how are you talking to my niece like that? You just have a vendetta against me and you need to back off.
Yeah, that's where I really don't think that he knew who she was. I thought he was just going for the lower totem pole, probably just wanting to get his in with the FBI and, that show them what I can do. And then she's like, you got the wrong ADA. because she had been with TJ talking about Molly. She had brought, or Kristina, she had brought him coffee. Right. And I can't with TJ.
I just don't understand. Okay, no matter what the circumstances are, again, we are now 8 months into this pregnancy. Kristina has done everything that she can to keep this baby safe and taking all of her vitamins and eating healthy and blah, 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 to make sure that this baby is perfect. Why would you think, again, that she is like, this was some big plan that she had from the beginning of she's going to steal your baby? If she wanted to have a baby, she would have gone and got a donor on her own. She didn't want to have TJ's baby. She was trying to give a baby to Molly. So why would you think that just because she didn't announce on national TV that it was your baby, because they would have been angry if she would have said, oh, I'm the surrogate because my sister can't have kids, they would have turned around and screamed at her and been like, that wasn't your place to tell the whole world that we can't have kids.
Exactly.
You know, it was a lose-lose situation.
It was. And he's taking it the step further because he's like, she told the entire country that about her plan to take our baby. That is literally not what she said.
Nope. She said, I'd like some privacy. Thanks.
Right.
And she was also correct in the fact that they're there to talk about the injustices of people being against people in the gay community. She doesn't want to take away from that because everyone's going to jump on the baby bandwagon, whether they're for or against her having a baby, however she conceived. That will then be the highlight of everyone's conversation. I didn't want to talk about the fact I was pregnant because I wanted to make sure we stayed on topic for the fact that Blaze just lost her contract because it came out that she was a lesbian. Like, how is that so hard to understand? I don't get it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. But then Molly, and we saw Molly starting to, she's like, I don't know. I do kind of believe her because it makes sense. You know, it's not her story to tell. But then was it during that time is when Alexis went to see Kristina? And she's like, so talk to Molly. And Alexis walked through it with her. And she said, you know, I was prepared to be asked anything from you to dad. I was really not prepared, even though it's like, quote unquote, obvious. She wasn't prepared to talk about that because that was not the topic, you know. And if they were, the topic was basically bad parents. And I mean, in addition to Blaze, you know, and her situation. But so that would make sense that, oh, and Kristina, you know, how do you feel about the fact that your dad's a alleged mobster, you know, and just like, how does having parents like that, you know, play into your life, or even making the connection that her center is being funded by, you know, I saw that as almost being, you know, just like looking back, because we talked about what Perez Hilton's career originally was, that would have been a good gotcha. It would have been,
exactly.
You know, so what do you have to say about, you know, using mob money for your, you know, whatever? Kind of saying how we talked about a couple weeks ago that for whatever reason, her supporters are having an issue with the fact that she and Blaze wanted privacy, but they have no issue with Sonny.
Right.
So, but.
And then that was when when Kristina was like, well, I'm concerned because they don't have this plan. They don't have that plan, blah, blah, blah. And Alexis did bring up a good point. Like, you're not privy to that information. There's nowhere in the contract that says they have to clear by you that they're going to be good enough parents according to your standards before you give the baby over to them. It's their baby to make the choices.
I do agree, though, that they should be talking about postpartum because.
I mean, I feel like that would just be normal sister conversation.
Right. Like, I'm getting ready to wind down and hand off my cases. I'm catching people up. You know, TJ, same thing. You know, he has patients that he's been working with. And if he's planning to take an extended leave, but also they should also be caring about how is Kristina going to heal from this. That's how I feel, especially where it's not. So I don't know. I mean, who was it? Your niece?
Yes.
That is, you know, I would imagine where she's not family to the people that she is a surrogate for. I would imagine that it sounds like she does form an emotional attachment and is able to bond with the families and everything, because you said that she does keep in touch with one of those.
So the first family that she had the twins for, she was actually upset because she thought that they had formed an emotional bond together. And then once the babies were born, they were kind of like, thanks, and don't really communicate with her. The baby that she's carrying now, it seems like she's going to have, not a place in the child's life so much, but as like updates of, baby's doing well or whatever. But I mean, again, how can you not form a bond with a baby? Like, from being pregnant, there's no way, no matter what your situation is, there's no way to not form an emotional attachment.
And that's what Alexis shared with Molly, and then TJ too, and especially Molly, though. She's like, listen, she has all these hormones. Her basic instinct right now is to protect the baby at all costs. That is what your body is telling you to do.
Right.
And, they're not discussing how is this going to work afterwards, because we are family. And, Kristina has to heal also, so they should have, Kristina needs to have her own plan also. And I wish that Alexis was talking to her about that too. Like, hey, honey, I think we should go start talking to a therapist. First of all, why aren't these people all in therapy? Kevin could be so loaded. He would have his own practice. Why is the psychiatry and psychology departments of General Hospital not as busy as they should be? We need more therapists.
Yes.
And, I just feel like that would be something that would help specifically Molly and Kristina, because Molly has to be going through a lot of, oh, this isn't fair. My sister's able to carry her baby. And the thing is, Molly is a very logical person. But on her side, there are probably emotions that are coming with it that she's not used to or prepared for.
And she's never experienced what Kristina's experiencing. So she doesn't understand that being pregnant really makes you crazy at certain points. So it's a lot to deal with. But I just don't like TJ in the middle of it. Like, at the end of the day, TJ, that you have rights. You can say that they're biased towards the mother, but I would assume that once you explain the situation and how she got pregnant, it's not like you cheated on your wife with her sister. Then the judge is going to say, even if they say, okay, yes, Kristina's the mom, she is the mom, you're the dad. We know that they don't push dads out. He said to Alexis at some point, well, if I'm even allowed that chance to watch my child grow, what?
Well, and then so for 95% of the week, I liked Molly because it seemed like she was being rational until she started to talk about the situation that she specifically had with Kristina, and she did it with TJ and she did it with Sam. Mm-hmm. She said, I said a lot of things I shouldn't have said. And here's everything that Kristina said. She did not say a single thing of what she said. And she said some absolutely horrific things. And yes, Kristina said some things in response to what Molly said.
Exactly.
Kristina would not have said.
Right. Kristina said that she thinks that she would be better parents than us. Oh, okay. Well, did you bring up the fact that you threw in Kristina's face all the mistakes that she made when it came to relationships, and that her and Blaze haven't even been together that long? So why would they even think about having babies? Give me a break.
And then TJ is all like, she's a bartender and Blaze just lost her career. And it's
right.
Do they know that they're not that high and mighty?
Exactly.
So, I did like that they addressed Kristina's fear, though, and that Molly said, well, part of her thinking is that you and I are going to be breaking up. So, and she was honest and said, it's not like that hasn't crossed my mind that it could be happening.
Yes.
But, I'm sorry, if you keep attacking my family like that, it's I can say stuff I'm allowed to say things about, but no one else gets to.
No.
I'm allowed to share my sister did this, and be like so angry at my sister about something. You don't get to call her anything, though.
No, nope.
That's not how that works. I don't care if I'm married to you or what. You don't get that because no.
Yep.
So
exactly.
And vice versa.
the way that he just continues to tear down Kristina. I don't care if she was the worst person in the world. At the end of the day, she is still doing this huge favor for you and sacrificing so much of her day-to-day life. Why do you get to just keep nitpicking about anything and everything? Like,
and keep picking on bartenders.
grateful.
They make good money.
Right,
Like,
exactly.
They're not.
Exactly.
They're not. It's
And
not
it's
a
not
bad
like-
profession.
It's not like, oh, she's spending all her time at the bar because she's a drunk. She's completely sober, serving people and making decent money at it while she does.
And she's the manager.
Right.
She's not just, I don't want to say just a bartender, but her
Right.
only role is not bartender.
Right.
It's manager. And I don't know. I feel like people in restaurant business can really make bank. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's a
Without the
lot of
student
words
loan
to
debt,
say how much
the
we
TJ.
hate. Yes, exactly.
So there you go,
questions
TJ.
are
Her
thought.
debt to income percentage is much better than TJ's. That's what he's
That's
mad
right.
about secretly. He's mad about the debt to income.
Yes.
I guess we can jump forward to where he was talking to Alexis, because Alexis went to him and said, I have been telling you guys this since the beginning. I really need you to understand where Kristina's coming from. She truly is not trying to take away your baby, and kind of said the same thing about she needs to protect the baby right now, and she's not going to get in the way. But you also have to not make me choose between my daughters. And then he accuses her of being a coward, and that if she's not only choosing Molly, that,
I feel like that conversation was unfair because so Molly and him talked and they were like, oh no, Kristina's going to steal our baby. And then Molly and Alexis talked, and Alexis was like, have some respect for the feelings that she's having and see that she's just concerned about the baby. And then Molly went to Kristina and was like, hey, listen, I have actually requested this time off, and TJ's taken this off, and we're putting together a nursery, and we're this and we're that, blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
like ease her mind of, oh, you guys really do want this baby. It's not just like you wanted it because you couldn't have it or something.
Yeah.
I feel like after I left having that conversation, I would call my significant other and be like, listen, it was like a huge misunderstanding. I talked to her. I told her that we were doing this, this, and this. And she explained that she had these fears and like, maybe they are rational, maybe they're not. But again, pregnancy, hormones, blah, 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 blah. And I think that we just need to step back and see how this plays out. The fact that she didn't call him was just weird. And then he gets into it with her mother about, oh, she's a coward and she's not going to help out or whatever. Like, no.
Although I will say, given their two professions, maybe that's more their communication style, though, is TJ can't really just pick up the phone. When I'm at work and JD calls, I'm more easily able to just pick up the phone and maybe have a couple-minute personal phone call, But if I call him, he doesn't. And
when you send a text at that point and be like, hey, good news, it's not as complicated as we thought. I'll catch you up at dinner or something.
Right, exactly.
Like,
something. But then she also did. So after she and Kristina buried the hatchet and, I did like that both of them apologized for their part. And Molly was like, listen, I really jumped the gun, but I got scared,
right.
But I absolutely should not have done that. I definitely shouldn't have just like gone at you for it. And then she has the lunch with Sam and basically
that was frustrating. Yep.
And basically like, yeah, we made up, but blah, blah, blah. No, you just had a beautiful moment with your one sister and now you're hanging out with your other. And I was really glad to see Sam defending Kristina. I felt that she was defending her and was like kind of saying the same thing as Alexis. Listen, hormones are, and I was glad to see that also Molly told her about Kristina's fear of them breaking up.
Right.
Because I feel like that's a legit fear. Like if you're worried, one last thing that Kristina even told Molly, she's like, I am seriously more concerned about keeping this baby for you.
Right. Exactly. It wasn't,
like she said the exact.
Yeah, I'm not refusing to give up rights, period. I'm refusing to give up rights until the petition for you to adopt the baby is started. Because right now, if I just sign off on my rights, the only parent this kid has is TJ.
Right.
Like, how do you not see that if this is like when she said to Alexis, I'm trying to make sure he can't run off with our baby. I felt like that was a collective, like our baby, not just he gets
in this
to take
situation. In this situation, and I don't think she was claiming biological parental rights. Yes, but she
Yes.
wasn't saying like my lover's taken off with my baby. You know,
Right.
it's I need to make sure that my sister has the right to be with her child.
Exactly. I didn't go through all this to give TJ a baby. I went through all this to give TJ and Molly a baby.
Well, and I don't even think that she's going through it for TJ. She's going through it for Molly.
Right.
You know, she wouldn't just be a surrogate for nothing. She's doing this. And that's what she told her too. She's like, I love you. This is why. Well, and that's what, when Molly showed up and said, how are you? And she's like, the baby's fine. She's like, no, I'm actually asking about you.
Right. Right.
And Molly was making sure that she remembered, yeah, I remember that we're sisters. But then for her to go and start talking to Sam about it is.
Yeah, that was yucky.
Yeah. I didn't like it. So then we can't really go further with that yet. So let's go backwards. Let's go back to Monday. What else happened Monday?
Monday was really just setting us up for the trial on Tuesday.
Yeah. Carly asked Michael for him and Joss to make peace with Sonny, even if they have to do it 1,000,000 times over for Donna, because she needs that stability. She needs them. And then Dante went to see Sonny, and that's when Dante walked in as he was finishing the conversation with Brick about wanting to know.
Right, his location.
Yeah, of John, Jagger, whatever. And Sonny basically kicks him out, right?
Yeah, he's like, we've said before how we can't have our businesses intertwined or whatever. You don't need to know what I'm doing. You're here as a cop, not as a son. And Dante was like, no, I'm just kind of here to make sure you don't make a stupid choice. Like, as my dad, as a person, as a whatever, like, just don't be going after, because Michael had told, oh wait, no, that hadn't happened at that point. I was going to say Michael had told everyone how Sonny almost hit John, but that hadn't happened yet. But just leading up to how angry he was because Sonny finally knew why Jason had been working for them.
And not even to the extent, though, but that does come out a lot more, because Sonny's upset about the fact that Jason and Carly were aware of John being after him and hadn't told him.
Right.
And then Dante was asking, well, why haven't you talked to Anna about this or something? And he's like, I've been his target for 30 years. No, you haven't. You haven't.
He just hasn't liked you for 30 years.
For the past 6 months, maybe.
Right.
Well, there's no reason for him to be having this big of a vendetta against Sonny. It's absolutely insane. It's like we've talked about. If Stone had died in the quote unquote line of duty, in working for Sonny,
right?
I get it.
Yep.
If he had been a casualty of a mob hit, I get it. That's not the story at all. As you will be reminded on Thursday during Stonecade's 411. And we haven't even heard anything. So it's not even like Sonny you're telling me in the past 30 years that John has just quietly been there, and Sonny, with all of his resources, has never gotten wind that Jagger is looking and, looking into all these things. I mean, I'm sorry. And I could be wrong. I don't know how the FBI works, but I don't feel like they get notified when random people are just found coming out of piles of rubble.
Right. Right.
That they weren't even aware happened, because the FBI was not involved in. It's not like the FBI was there when the collapse happened, right?
I don't know. They're making it sound like it wasn't Agent Cates that was there, but there were 2 agents there, and that's who got him out of the rubble and then took him to Cates.
But why were they on?
I don't know.
They were on Cassadine Island. They were. Hold on. That's when they were Peter. It was the hallucinating thing, right? That was when, remember, Valentine was hallucinating because it was Helena. Victor was doing something with the hallucinogen.
Okay.
It was November 2021. Hold on. budding couple Jason Morgan, Drew's twin, and Britt Westbourne team up and sneak onto the island. Both are held captive, with Jason and Drew shackled in the cellar, Britt and Liesl trapped in the house, where Peter is trying to sway them to his side. All the captives manage to escape and flee through the tunnels. Later, Peter is engaged in a shootout with Jason, causing the unsteady tunnel to collapse. Once the dust settles, Jason was nowhere to be found, presumably buried underneath the rubble, while Britt, Drew, and Liesl managed to get to safety. Okay, so...
Yeah, I don't know why the FBI would be there.
The only person that even had those ties is Anna, was involved in all of that. So, I mean, Anna didn't call the FBI and was like, hey, can you help find Jason Morgan, of all people,
Right.
you know?
No, it didn't sound like they were looking for Jason. It was like, once they heard about the tunnel caving in, that they were like, we're going to go rescue him so we can use him. But like you said, I don't understand how or why that would even be on their radar.
Right. So
that whole
number
storyline is just
157 million of things that don't make sense about Jagger's new storyline.
Right.
So then what else happened on Monday? John was visiting with Sonny, and Ava tells him that Sonny's not thinking clearly, and she found out by accident that he's under-medicated. And she was concerned because of how he was acting, so she had them tested, and she just didn't tell him because there was never a good enough time.
Right. He would have flown off the handle and been angry with her.
Right. Then how about if you're truly concerned for somebody, it's called an intervention. It's called, you call a medical professional.
Right.
You call Carly and say, Carly, listen, I've noticed that he's acting erratically, so I had his pills tested. They're underdosed, but I'm worried about telling him. Can you help me? But John just sees Ava as a helpless little girl.
Oh, they're so disgusting.
But then he's like, but wait a second. If I get him to go crazy enough to act out on it, that'll help your custody case. And Ava's like, I never thought of that. Meanwhile, I've orchestrated this entire thing. But
right. Exactly.
No, a very good FBI agent.
Neither one of us thought about using each other. We just happened to be hooking up because we have so much in common. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I did so before Jason left the jail, I'm actually really trying to think of why Jason is still friends with Carly.
Right.
After this week, because she's like, well, how mad at me are you? At least I saved you a ride to Quantico. And he's like, seriously, why can you not just listen for once? You're making a mess of everything.
Yep.
And it was, as soon as he said that, I just sat there and was like, why are you friends?
Yeah. But he is loyal.
She's the only one that benefits in this relationship. How has he benefit? And I don't mean quid pro quo and, transactional relationship, but there is, maybe he just likes being the rescuer. He has a codependency on Carly.
Yeah.
They have a very unhealthy codependency on each other.
That is true.
But yeah, when he was like, why won't you answer for once? But then she asked him if he would take care of Michael, Joss, and Donna.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, of course, because remember, I raised your son when you left. But he said, of course, so. And then I guess we could just go to the courthouse, which we've already talked about. John instigating Molly and, instigating with Sonny to come to her rescue. And then as Sonny was lunging out towards him, Michael held him back. And thankfully he was like, really, this is what he wants. You need to calm down, which is kind of reiterating what Dante had told him too, was, listen, this man is trying to get you to react. I need you to not do that.
Right.
The other thing that John said when Michael was holding him back. Sonny told Michael to let him go, and John told him to listen to his dad. Oh, wait, I mean, your real dad's actually AJ Quartermain. This guy blew him away. And then that's when Michael's like, he's just trying to get you to hit him. You need to not.
Right, exactly. Hey, Dad, in case you didn't catch on to this, he's just trying to make you angry. Let's not punch him out. But I also felt like everyone was making a big deal about him almost punching Jagger, so out of character, blah, blah, blah. I don't feel like that was out of character. Sonny on meds 100% after John said all that stuff about Karen and Stone and whatever. I feel like maybe not right outside the courthouse, that may have not been typical, but for him to punch Jagger, I don't think that would have been out of realm for Sonny when he's angry. I wanted to punch him. It had nothing to do with on or off meds.
But I do think that Sonny does restrain himself. When have we ever seen him actually physically punch someone? He lets them go, and then he talks to Brick. He talks to so-and-so, and he coordinates a plan. But when have we seen him physically get into an altercation when he was medicated properly?
I don't know, but I still feel like Agent Kate's pushed too far.
Oh, the second that you bring my kids into it, it's all gone. I mean,
right. That's what I'm saying. Like, you and I being level-headed, if someone accused us of the things that he was accusing Sonny of that was completely not true, yeah, I'm not a violent person, but I might punch you.
I'm just really trying to think that when have we seen Sonny fight with his hands? I feel like that's why he has the boxing, so that he can go get that aggression out. But he's more of, I don't want to say puppet master, but, like behind the swould he uses his network to get things done so that it's not him directly. Because that would be his Al Capone moment, Yeah, he's
right.
going to be arrested, and the book's going to be thrown at him so hard for just simple assault in order to get him on everything else,
Yeah.
I mean, Al Capone, I feel like it's a common known thing, but for those who don't know, Al Capone went to jail for tax evasion, not for murder. So
right, exactly.
Yeah. But then they all go into the courtroom, and Carly walks in and is surprised to see her family there, and then goes over and gives Joss a hug. Like, none of them have ever been in court before. And the bailiff's like, no touching. And they're like, oh, yeah, sorry. No.
Yeah.
But I did like that Michael, Joss, and Dante were hanging out in the doorway. And Michael said something about, everyone says he's taking his med. And Joss is like, maybe they're just not working anymore.
Right.
That's perfectly possible.
Yep.
But Diane tells Carly.
A short trip here can give you a long-haul holiday here. Collect Avios on your everyday spending and jet off to somewhere special. Sign up to the British Airways Club and collect Avios on your daily commute, online shopping and groceries. Then spend your Avios on flights, car hire, hotels and more. Your everyday can pay for your holiday. Start collecting today. Search Avios. T's and C's apply.
She does not want to hear a word, peep, or audible breathing from Carly because the judge won't be expecting that. And it will help. Like, AKA, they want a reaction out of you. You need to just sit there, stone cold silent.
And do not look at Agent Kate's no matter what.
And not to, where is it? Oh, I thought that I wrote it down. And then she said something about not a flip of the hair, like not through the back of your head. Oh no, don't look at Kate's. Don't side eye at him. Don't look at him through the back of your head with like flipping your hair. And Carly's like, I don't toss my hair, whatever it was. But then I just thought it was funny that both Michael and Joss are like, those are fair points, there's not a last word that Carly doesn't want to get in on. And then she corrected when Michael and Joss said something, and Diane's like, this is literally what I was just telling you about.
Just keep your mouth shut.
Oh, but Carly had said that she isn't an idiot to Diane, and she says, I agree, but you are impulsive and tend to speak without thinking, and there isn't a last word that you want in on. That was it, yeah. But then in the meantime, Kate's was out in the hallway talking with the U.S. attorney.
Mm-hmm.
And we never find out what they actually talked about.
I think it was just implied that he was like, go for the hardest sentence. Make sure that you get this one because I want to teach them a lesson.
Yeah. But then Diane asks for a dismissal because they have not shared their evidence.
Right.
And then the attorney gets up and is like, yeah, so we don't oppose this because somebody had come in and like whispered in his ear.
Right.
I'm sorry. You are a U.S. attorney and you go to court, first of all, knowing that you did not share this evidence with the defense.
Right.
And secondly, you're not ready to have your evidence with you.
Right. I didn't understand that. Like, you didn't review that information 5 seconds before you walked in the courtroom. So you could be like, here you go, judge. This was the chain of ownership or whatever. And
Right.
here it is. Like, listen to this recording and boom, my whole case is proven. Thanks, have a great day. And I don't think that people are supposed to just like walk in and start whispering in your ear. Like, that was disrespectful to the judge also. That person should have had to have like come in and been like, sorry to interrupt. I need to speak to this person. It's an emergency.
I don't know how that works because I feel like TV does that all the time. Somebody always goes over to one of the attorneys and then it's, Judge, I just got this information, because then the attorney stands up and says, we don't oppose the dismissal. Apparently, the file has been erased and John lost it.
Oh my God. He was ridiculous. Ridiculous.
I did like that the judge totally put him in his place. He's like, you got a problem with it? You go talk to your boss. This has nothing. If they don't have it,
right.
There's nothing you can do.
She's like, what part did you miss of there is no evidence? Like, I just said it's over. It's done. There is nothing. And he's like, but, and she's like, no, be quiet. Or I'm going to hold you in contempt. Like, this is over. I'm not playing baby games with you because you're mad that you didn't get your way. Shut up.
Right. Exactly. So then charges are dropped. Michael says, hey, why don't we all go to Wiley's party, because Wiley's getting a birthday that James is attending. How did James know what a birthday party is since the kid has never had one?
When I saw poor James there, I thought, oh, Shanna's going to be so mad that he is experiencing this. And then they're like, whenever Carly and them get there, they're like, do you want a second piece of cake? I'm like, oh, James has never had one piece of cake even on his birthday, let alone a second piece.
Right. So then Michael turns around and asks Sonny to join them. And he tells them, or he says something about, what the heck's wrong with you guys? You know, I could have helped you with this. And Jason specifically says, I've been trying to tell you this.
Right.
And you've not been listening.
Right. You didn't want to hear what I had to say. And your way of solving this would have probably been to kill Jagger, which would have made the FBI like take a look at what was going on, and there still would have been trouble for everyone. I know they couldn't have known that was going to be the outcome, but it actually played out the best way because Carly did push it. Yep.
And then I think it was it was like later on in the day, Sonny had gone back to his office. Jason didn't go to the party. Whatever, dude. It's supposed to be your best friend's grandson's party and you're not going to go, but okay.
Right.
He probably didn't have a gift.
I'm sure he could have just tossed $50 in a card. It would have been fine.
Right. But then he goes to Sonny's office to talk to him. And Sonny's like, I have nothing to say to you. He's like, good, because I'm doing all the talking. And then he tells him, I was under the rubble. When I got out, the FBI was there. They immediately played this footage of Carly, the audio recording of Carly, admitting to being a mobster and running the entire Clinton's organization. And they gave me a choice, either turn you in, Carly goes to jail, or I work with them. And I didn't turn you in. And so I started to work with them because I was not doing that. And then, you know, he wasn't offered a phone call. He didn't have anyone to call.
Right.
And so he agreed to help try to take down the Pikeman thing. And I don't think that he knew that in the meantime, Sonny had become involved with Pikeman, right?
No, I don't think he did either. Mm-mm.
So he didn't know that was going to be a connection. And then when he found out that it was, I mean, Sonny nudged the sniper, you know, to not, or Jason's, not, you know, made sure that Sonny was not hit. And then just Sonny goes off on the whole, nobody's going to protect me. I'm the only one that can protect myself. And then Dante walks in and Jason goes to leave. But then before he does, he says, you know, Kate's offered to let Carly go if I testified against you, and I refused to.
Right. Like today, like literally hours ago. Right. And I said, no, still, even though you've been a jerk.
Right. So then in the meantime, Sonny had asked Brick to have Ava followed with a camera. So it wasn't, and Kate's being followed too. We found out that he really wasn't going to he was not going to go after him to shoot him.
Right.
But Anna had gone to the WSB to find out what happened to Brennan.
Right.
And it turns out, first of all, I looked up the people. She said Public Affairs Chief Matthew Weaver and Deputy Director Mia Granahan. I was really hoping that those were people like secretly tied behind the scenes. I could not find anything. So if you people know who these people are, if anyone knows who they are, please email us. I would love to know, because I feel like they don't really pull all those names out of nowhere.
Right.
But I mean, I feel like they tribute their main characters. Like Donna's named after the makeup artist, hairstylist.
I was going to say costume designer. It was something with the...
Yeah. But I mean, she was honored that way, by having the baby named after her. Same thing with Amelia, right? Or was that just a coincidence?
No, I thought Amelia was too.
Okay.
I'm not positive.
But yeah, that's what they do. And Brennan opens the door and she goes in it's like...
Sorry, before that, whenever she talked to like the gatekeeper, to Brennan, and was like, "Can you give me this information?" Blah blah blah. He was like, "You're just a police commissioner to some small town in New York. Like, you're not entitled to this." And she's like, "Well, I used to be an agent." And he's like, "And even current agents don't have this information, so I can't really share this with you." Until then, Brennan was like, "Okay, yeah, I'll see her. Like, let her come back, and I'll not explain, but I'll at least let her see I am here."
And she's like, what happened? Why is everything gone? He's like, "Because I wasn't there," and he like twinkled his fingers like a magician. And she kind of calls him out for, you've been involved with Pikeman to separate them from the WSB from the get-go. And I'm wondering if the same thing's true about Valentine, because she said, so the WSB has basically funded Valentine's getaway too. So I do. So that means that Valentine is not the horrible person that we have recently thought that he was.
Mm-hmm. You're right, but I still am mad at him for keeping all that from Anna.
There still has to be a really, really good reason, though.
Yeah.
I mean, and part of it just could be her ignorance is bliss, and it gives her deniability. So,
right. And then she tells him, like he doesn't already know, "Oh, your girl Carly's in trouble." And he's like, "Oh, that's..."
I do think he knew that she was in trouble, but Anna told him that she's actually going to trial, because he was already gone when all that stuff happened with John, and John arrested her.
Right.
So he didn't know that part, but he knew from what Carly had told him that Kate's was after her, and after Jason and everything. And so we're 100% made to believe Brennan is the one who had the file deleted, because he told Anna to have patience.
Yep.
So at this point, we had no idea. And he is not in the business of ruining people's lives, good, bad, or otherwise. Because then at Wiley's birthday party, Carly shares with Willow and Maxie and Spinelli that charges have been dropped. Michael's like, "Yeah, the audio recording just went away." And somebody says something about that's great. And then Carly is like eyeing up Spinelli and is like, "Yeah, it really is." Mm-hmm. And she thanks him. And he's like, "Listen, I appreciate the fact that you think that I could do that, but..."
I love that scene. He's like, "I hate to admit this, but it was not me."
Yeah. So then it's kind of like, okay, well then who was it? Oh, I did love Spinelli and Maxie talking about, so before, when Carly wasn't obviously able to make the birthday party and Michael was at the courthouse, and Maxie was just saying something about I don't understand what's going on with Carly. Like, how did this happen?
Right.
And something with Spinelli, and it was before they found out, right, that the charges had been dropped, because he's like, "Well, I'm not going to tell you stuff." And she's like, "Okay." He's like, "But I can tell you what I did not do."
Right. Exactly.
But he said, he's like, I'm really double thinking my involvement in things like this.
Right.
And, because I don't want to risk anything with my family. And she said, "Well, how about this? We make that decision together." And so they're going to make the decision together.
Right. They were holding hands, looking at each other across the table. It was all cute.
Yes. I don't know where to go from there. Like, now this is where it gets, okay, how do we get there?
So it was set up we saw Trina went to visit Ava, and then Agent Cates comes walking out in a towel, and she's like, "Oh
yes,
I'm so sorry. I didn't realize you had company. I will go, blah, blah, blah." And Ava's like, oh, he just took a shower here because he doesn't have anywhere to stay. And Trina's like, okay, well, anyway, I'll leave. Like, goodbye. And then it was weird, stupid the way that Ava's like, well, here, take your luggage. And he's like, no, I'm going to set it right here and I'll get it later. Like, I don't know why they needed to make it so, like, highlight the luggage. I understand that it was what caused the accident, but he could have just left his luggage there. We didn't need to, like, announce it.
Well, I think that it was Ava had pulled out his luggage and was like, oh, don't forget your stuff. And he's like, no. And I mean, I kind of get it where he was putting it behind he's like, here, I'll put it back here. That way, if you have more company, everyone's not like, so whose is that?
Right.
So it was like hidden behind the chair. But I loved Trina immediately running down to the pool and being like, Joss, oh my gosh, guess what just happened? Because we don't really see that, first of all, from Trina, and let alone, I mean, we see them be good girlfriends, but not.
Well, especially since Agent Cates was just arresting Joss's mom. It was like, wait a second, what is going on that this man is in Ava's room in a towel? Oh my God.
And Joss even says, Ava does not do anything without a plan, so she's using him.
Yeah, absolutely.
But then, and then before all that, though, is when the reason that he and Ava wound up in bed was because he had gone to tell Ava that the charges had been dropped. Because Ava, who had Ava been talking to? Ava had been talking to somebody about, oh, this is basically all going to go my way, and it's going to be soon because.
Scott? Wasn't she talking to Scott about it's okay, like I have a secret weapon?
Yeah, hold on.
Because that's like Scott said.
They were reviewing the witness list. Yeah.
Right, because he was checking his phone and she was like, I'm not paying you if you're playing on your phone whenever we're supposed to be working. And that's whenever he was like, no, I just had Kristina served. And that was whenever it flipped over to the conversation between Kristina and Molly where they were sharing everything, and then Kristina got served with the papers.
Did you think that was going to be TJ had sent a courier to get the? Yeah,
yes,
I did too.
Yes, whenever she
I like
door,
that.
I was like, oh no, and then I was like, oh, okay, that's better because I wanted to see Molly go off. Like that would have been a good conflict for Molly to call TJ and be like, what the heck are you doing? I'm here trying to smooth stuff over, and you just created a whole new issue.
Right. And no wonder Kristina thinks that we are waking up.
Right.
But before Scott, I guess, so he had ordered Kristina to be served, but Ava had been telling him, well, when Carly's convicted of RICO charges, no one's going to be able to believe her because Scott said, yeah, we can call Carly as a witness, but she is going to protect Sonny, and you know this.
Right.
And she's like, not so much whenever she's a convicted felon or whatever.
Yep.
And then... Hold on, let me scooch through. Let's go through. Talked about all that. Oh, I did like Alexis going to the PCPD and she's dropping off paperwork. Molly had been there.
Yes.
Why was Molly there? But Molly and Dante were talking about Kristina. Not really. But Dante congratulates Alexis and says, it'll be nice to have a different picture on the dartboard. We're getting kind of tired of Diane.
Right.
Like that is a good relationship that you have with a potential mother-in-law that you can be like,
yep, we're going to hate you when it comes to this.
Yeah. But, and then that's when Alexis and Molly had their conversation about everything. And then, okay, we already did that. Okay. At Wiley's birthday party, Michael and Willow start talking, and Willow is like, I really wish that Sonny would see this as an opportunity to, make peace with the family. And Michael's like, yeah, I'm trying not to take it personally. Dude, you're not the one to be taking it personally. You hired Dex to come into town to take Sonny down. Sonny has a right to still be mad about that.
Yep, absolutely.
Especially when that's... Just because Michael's over does not mean that Sonny has to be, because that's the only thing. Because that's when Sonny started calling him Judas and things like that,
right.
And I mean, Michael has apologized and Sonny's accepted the apology, but it does not mean that you have to let that person back in to do. You don't owe anybody access to you after, especially they try to destroy your entire life.
Right. It's like when Sonny met with Nina, they were like, we're just going to agree that things happened and this is where we are. And I wish the best for you. And that's that. We're not getting back together. We're not going to start hanging out. We're not going to try to relive the past. We're just going to say, we both hope we're happy moving on. And Sonny has a right to feel that way about Michael for as long as he needs to feel that way. It's sad that he won't be there for Wiley's birthday party, but no, I don't want to come hang out at the pool with you and pretend like we're fine when you were trying to get evidence on me to send me away or kill me. Thanks anyway.
And I mean, the pool is no place for a black suit either. I mean, he'd be too hot. He was definitely not wearing his swimming trunks under that suit.
True.
Neither was Jason. So that's why Jason didn't go.
Yep.
But, Anna and Dante talked at the PCPD because Dante had gone to General Hospital and found out that Brennan's records had been deleted. And so then when Anna came back to town, Dante was like, so I tried to do what you asked me to do, and he's been erased from GH as well. And she's like, yeah, so here's the thing. He's alive and he's here. And Kate bursts in. Why are we using this interrogation room so much?
Right.
And nobody knocks.
Nope.
If the door is shut, you knock.
Right.
But he just bursts in and he's like, I know that you were behind it, that this tape or this audio recording gets erased. And I've been working for years to build this case. And I've been spending the past 3 years handling Morgan. And now Carly skates. And she was like, I think that you are mixing up your cases because you were using Jason to take down Pikeman. And although they were not taken down in the way that you wanted them to, the FBI was able to obtain enough information about them to shut them down.
Absolutely.
Carly had no part of that. So, like that.
Yep. And she's like, and you probably want to be more concerned with your own problems, which is it was your credentials that were used to access that recording last, and now it's gone. So,
so Spinelli helped in some way without realizing it.
Right.
But, they start talking about oaths and the protect and serve and whatever. And he accuses her of protecting and serving Valentine and Sonny, not her community. To be fair, when he left after he said that, she kind of stood there like, oh, crap.
Right. He's not right. He's not wrong. I do have my own agenda. I just try to take care of other people too.
Mm-hmm. But then, so then on Thursday, we've already talked like a little bit of some of the things because that's when Trina caught John and all that. Lois and Brooklyn were discussing Sonny bankrolling the new record label. And Lois was like, so how involved does he say that he's going to be? And Brooklyn's like, it sounds like he's really just not going to be. He's just going to, write the checks.
Right.
And Lois kind of gives her a little bit of pushback. And Brooklyn, I don't think Lois was meaning to give pushback but then Brooklyn calls her out and says, it sounds like you don't think I can do this. She goes, my daughter can do absolutely anything. Like, don't you think that? Right. I'm just letting you know, managing a single artist is way different than managing a record label.
Yes.
And I was waiting for Brooklyn to say, at least I have you.
Yep.
But she didn't.
Do this together. Exactly.
But, they talked about the fact that they still have to get Blaze's buy-in to this whole thing because without her, it doesn't make sense. Mm-hmm. So then Lois goes and sees Sonny and has said, I just need to make sure the history is not going to repeat itself here and how clean is the money? And then Sonny got mad at her and said, you're betraying me now too, or you don't
trust me. He said, you don't trust me. And it was like, yeah, I don't trust you because in the past you used dirty money for things you shouldn't have used it for. So of course I don't trust you.
I did like that Sonny, it's almost like he caught himself as he was having that conversation because he basically said to Lois, you need to leave now before I say something that is not going to be good. He was like, this is not the time to be having this kind of a conversation or something. He's like, we can pick this up at another time. Whether he was saying that to protect their friendship or because isn't that when he received a phone call or a text from Rick? No, because they had already talked about that, about the photos, like about having a photographer following them. So I don't remember.
I don't know who called then.
Because he was kind of interrupted and it was, okay, we have to, right?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean,
It couldn't have been that important.
yeah. But so Lois left, and in the meantime, Blaze had met with Brooklyn and is super excited about it. And Brooklyn shares that the entire idea was actually her mom's.
Mm-hmm.
And Natalia showed up, and, Brooklyn asked if they wanted some time to talk. And Brooklyn had told her before Natalia showed up that it is Blaze's decision how much her mom is involved. If she wants her to be, fine, we're going to rein her in. But if she's not, I got your back, Right. And I liked their conversation because I think that Natalia finally is starting to understand, because she said something about your lifestyle and she's like, Mom, it's not my lifestyle. You are saying these things about me.
Right.
That's who I am.
Yes.
And I think that finally started to click with Natalia.
Right. And she talked about how awesome Kristina is. She was like, you keep saying lifestyle, like, she's my partner. I love her.
Right. But in the meantime, Brooklyn had gone over and asked Gio if he'd be interested in any session work. So that's going to be exciting.
Yes.
And then, Jordan visited TJ at the hospital and we heard the whole thing again.
Right. Exactly.
And then Jordan basically said, I got your back.
Yeah. I'll protect my grandbaby no matter what. Okay.
Yeah. So we'd already seen Sam and Molly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it was Brick called because I have Sonny continued his conversation with Brick and asked for 24-hour surveillance on Ava. So that must have been who called while Lois was still there.
Wow, they worked quick then.
Yeah.
They got that photographer set fast.
Well, he was probably letting him know that he was in place.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant he was asking like for a photographer, and I was going to say, yeah, he was in place in like 2 seconds.
Because then Kristina came to see Sonny and let him know that she was subpoenaed and that she's worried, hey, if I'm being subpoenaed to tell them about Dex, you better expect that Dex is also going to be subpoenaed.
Right.
And Sonny says, not going to happen because we're not going to get that far. And then Scott walks in to tell Sonny that I thought that we already figured this out last week, that the judge ruled that Ava was allowed to see Avery.
Yes.
Like that was last week, right?
Yep. Yeah, it was Diane. That's what Diane was discussing with him whenever Carly blew up at Agent Kate's.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, Scotty, you're a week late to that one.
Right.
And then he says something to Kristina about, hey, I know that you got served. I'll see you tomorrow. And she's like, what the heck are you talking about? And he said, yeah, you really need to read your subpoena because you need to give a deposition so that we can make sure that you do not lie while you're on the stand. And that's tomorrow. Yeah. So get some rest. And then Kristina left and Sonny and Scott talked about something else. I just remember that it ended with Sonny basically saying, okay, bye, Scotty. What was it? I don't know. I just remember that Sonny ended by calling him Scotty instead of Scott. But yeah, then Kristina went over to see Ava and said that she will not be testifying. And Ava asks why she's so afraid to testify. And because Ava had already mentioned Dex. So it's not like Kristina is worried that Ava does not know about Dex. Like, I feel like everybody at this point knows about the situation with Dex. So it's not like Christina's trying to hide that. But the look on Christina's face was, yeah, there's something else.
Right.
Did you get that impression?
I did, but I don't know what else recently has come up. Like, I don't know.
Well, could it be something from the past? I mean,
there could be plenty of stuff from the past. I mean, she's his daughter, but I don't remember anything in particular that we witnessed, that Kristina witnessed. You know what I mean? She may have heard about it after the fact.
Well, especially since up until recently, she forgot that she even had seen.
Right.
Sonny.
She forgot she was a mob princess.
Right. So she's telling Ava, I'm not going to do it.
If you expect me to tell the truth about my dad, expect that I'm going to tell the truth about you. I'll bring up you dragging Morgan. I'll bring up, what was the other thing?
Killing
Connie. Yes. And that was whenever Ava grabbed her and she was like, don't touch me. And she just happens to trip backwards over Agent Kate's bag and falls out the window. I did not see that coming. I like
screamed. I screamed and then I started crying because I was like,
Aw,
no.
You're so cute. I did not cry, but I did go, and Madeline was downstairs and she was like, did that just fall out a window? And I was like, yes, she did.
I couldn't watch the replays. Like, I kept turning my head. I don't know what it was. I mean, I've never experienced anything like that. That doesn't trigger anything for me, but it was, the thing was that right before it happened, we saw the vantage point of the person that was taking the pictures.
Yes.
So we knew that somebody was recording it. And she fell into the Metro Court pool, and Blaze was still at the table with Natalia. Trina was sitting there talking to Joss, gossiping. Brooklyn was over at the bar talking to Gio, and they all witnessed it, and nobody knew who it was.
Right.
And that's where it ended. And then the next day it basically picked up with Joss jumping into the pool and immediately asking Gio for help, get the, Brooklyn call 911. Gio, you need to go get the backboard and you need to help me because I don't know if she's paralyzed. And then the second she flips her over, she saw that it was Kristina, and then Blaze loses it. And you know what I think it was? Her scream out the window was really good.
It was. That was a good scream.
I mean, it was gut-wrenching.
And the way that they brought the camera like up to her face under the water, it was like, oh no.
And then Trina looks up and sees Ava in the window. How did Ava not? Okay.
Right?
Ava's a smart woman.
You don't think there's all those people at the pool? They just saw this woman fall and no one's going to look up at the window?
And Ava's not making sure to take inventory of who's there to see who is witnessing it. Okay, to be fair, I do think that Ava was probably in shock because we can all agree that was she would definitely not have intentionally done that.
Right.
But she shuts the curtains, and then when Chase and Dante show up, and Brooklyn has to tell Dante that it's Kristina, but at that point, our EMT had shown up.
Yes.
He finally got a name. His name is now John, not unnamed paramedic. But here's my problem. John. How many Johns do we need on the show? They couldn't just use his real name, which is Matthew, or maybe even call him Matt. We don't have any of those. We had a Matt. We don't now.
Right.
But let's give him the name John.
Yes.
Anyway, but he has a name now. And then Blaze wasn't able to go in the ambulance, but Joss was like, I'm her sister. I'll go and I'll call you like the entire way, I'll keep you there. And then in the ambulance, Kristina kind of wakes up for a second and asks, and I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact that she asked, how's my baby?
Right. The baby is currently inside me. It is my baby right now.
Yes. And Joss tells her everything's going to be fine, but then she kind of passes out again. And then they get to the ER, and TJ's non-reaction
and Alexis's not overreaction, but just like she was rude to Joss. Like, tell me exactly what happened. Well, and she's like, I don't know. She fell out of a window and I gave her medical attention. And then it was Blaze's mom that was like, she saved her life. Like, everyone else just stood there not knowing what to do. She jumped right into action. And then Alexis was like, well, thank you, Joss. And it was like, yeah, you're welcome. You don't really need to thank me. Like, of course I'm going to do what I can to save someone's life. But I wasn't the one that pushed her. Like, I don't have any of that other information that you're getting all crappy with me that I don't have.
Okay, but put on your mom hat. We would not have been speaking politely and rationally.
I don't know that would be yelling at a young adult like that, though.
I hope to never find out.
True.
And then poor Gio, he's trying to call Sonny. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, well, no, I was just going to say, especially because Natalia was there and Blaze, and like they saw it too. If Joss would have been the only person there, then I guess it would make sense to be like, oh my God, tell me everything, blah, 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 and you wouldn't really watch your tone. But there's other older people there that also witnessed the exact same thing. Let's get it from them. And then Joss can just tell you, I got her out of the water and I kept her back straight. So That's all
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. And then Gio calls Sonny because Sonny was ignoring Dante's calls, and he struggles with even trying to tell Sonny, like, there was an accident, it was Kristina.
Right.
And then Dante and Chase start right away and are like, we need to figure out if this is a crime, because they both look up at the window and go, you're telling me that Kristina would not have tried to grab those curtains?
Yes, that was good detective work from the start.
Yes.
And then Ava, I didn't understand why she staged the room like that. Like, she moved John's bag out of the way and put high heels there. And then she like dumped ice all over the place and threw a couple other things around. It was like, oh, Kristina came in here irate. Once again, not Kristina's personality, and definitely not Kristina's personality as she's pregnant. And she tried to use it the other way and was like, oh, pregnancy hormones. No, like Alexis just said, pregnancy hormones make you want to protect your baby. You're not getting into physical altercations with people when you're 8 months pregnant if it can at all be avoided.
Right. Oh, and especially Dante calls her out on, that's the exact opposite of Kristina, and that's just not even close to how she would react. I think that she had John's suitcase so that she was protecting him almost. You know, she didn't want his stuff to be discovered, and she had to stage it with everything spilled all over the place to show that, like, Kristina came in here throwing everything, and, you know, but who kicks off their shoes right behind a chair?
Right, exactly.
That's
especially
where I'm more
in a fancy hotel room like that. Like, everything else was in its place other than the stuff that Kristina would have thrown. Your shoes would not have been sitting right there. And she said Kristina like was choking her and stuff. You have no red marks, no scratches, nothing that shows you were trying to defend yourself from that.
And then before he had gone up there, Trina approached them both at the pool, but we did not see what she talked to them about.
I'm sure she told them that she saw Ava there.
But then he said that the witnesses said that the curtains were definitely open and then they were shut. So, you know, and Ava's just like, oh, I just must have shut them.
Right. She's like, they were open, shut. I don't know. And he's like, no, Kristina would have grabbed them. And why would you shut them after? And then she was like, well, I just couldn't stand to look down there. Okay.
Right. And she called Scott before anything, like anything even happened. But, you know, Dante arrested her.
He did.
I don't understand why he didn't bring Chase with him as
Yep, because it was a conflict of interest. Absolutely. Chase should have been there.
That, even if he was going to be completely involved, you need someone there that's going to be another witness.
Right, exactly. I've heard the fact that she lied and it was so obvious of a lie. But yeah, I feel bad for Scott because he's going to be like, Ava, what now? Like, come on. We were trying to fight the custody case. We thought we had a done deal because of Carly. That got blown up, and now it's going to look like you pushed Kristina out a window.
Right, exactly. So then the doctor at the hospital comes out and says that Kristina has multiple internal injuries and that the placenta has detached from the uterus. And that is exactly how baby Lila died. And that is baby Lila passing is how we have Kristina, because that literally saved Kristina's life.
Right.
And that just scares me because I feel like that's going to mean something absolutely horrific. But Sam's going to be able to console Kristina because the same exact thing happened to her. And the entire thing is absolutely devastating. But and wasn't it because Alexis got Sam so angry that Sam wound up.
But, I mean, they said, no, that's not what caused it. But yes.
Well, that's not what caused it, but that's what caused her to kind of go into premature labor. And then, but they basically said that it would have happened no matter what, you know?
Right.
And so that's just going to be really horrific, you know? And then TJ hadn't called Molly yet. This is what made me think earlier about what I said with maybe that's just their relationship, because he hasn't called Molly yet because she's in court.
Right. No, that made sense at that moment. But I felt like earlier he would have at least texted.
But they're going to do an emergency C-section.
Yep. And
Trina confided in Gio that she saw Ava, and maybe she's just really, because she has seen a different side of Ava, just ignored it. But she's like, maybe I don't really know her at all because I saw her up there.
Right.
And she's like, maybe she's everything that everyone said, maybe worse.
Dun, dun, dun.
Did not see that coming at all.
No. That whole thing was, woo.
I'm just so mad about it. Like the whole way around.
I really hope that they don't end up hurting the baby.
Well, the baby's already hurt. I mean, that's...
Well, if they deliver the baby right now, it could be okay.
Yes. Well, probably a lot has changed in the past 20-something years. You know, maybe there will be a better outcome. But I think that it'll be good for... I mean, the first thing that I thought of was, I was like, Sam's going to be able to help her.
Yeah.
Because she's been through that exact thing. It's a possibility that it's genetic, you know.
Right.
All that. So...
No, I don't even want to think about that. I want it to all be okay.
Yeah, me too. Ugh, that was a downer to get to, but we had to wait for the end to get to it.
Right. It happened on Thursday/Friday. Had to go that way.
Yeah. Scotty's slimy.
Yeah.
But I don't know if he's going to protect Ava on this one.
No.
I really don't. There's just something. I don't think he will.
No.
Ava's gonna die.
Yeah.
Ava's gonna be dead soon. So, man, for this to be her ending storyline, if Ava is somehow not attempted to be taken out after this.
Right.
I mean, how is Brick already just not automatically, for lack of a better phrase, jump the gun?
I have a sniper up here right next to my camera. You want me to take her out now?
Not even calling Sonny, just being like, nope, saw it, bam.
Right.
Oh, I guess then they would have to explain, well, how did you know? Well, I was spying, you know.
Right.
The usual. Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
Reality check.
So how was your week?
It was uneventful, pretty much. I installed a new garbage disposal. That was fun because I love doing things that I have no idea what I'm doing. But
that's awesome.
Yes. Anything with electricity by water is a little scary, but got it done. So well,
if you turn off your electricity, that's a good thing.
Yes, I absolutely turned off the electricity, but it's still that first time that you touch it, even though you know you've turned off the electricity, it's scary to think, is it really off? Because I don't want to die or blow up my house.
I mean, good call.
Yeah. So anyway, so that was like a woohoo because I've not done that before. So good job. But the cute thing that happened to me that you will 100% appreciate is Madeline's had cheer all week. So one of the cheer moms is one of our Girl Scout moms, and her kids are a year older than Madeline, but I babysat them whenever they were little before I even had Madeline, and then they just kind of grew up together. So their mom says to me, oh my gosh, the other day, the little boy's not so little, but the boy was playing on his phone at night, and he was like, Mom, did you know that Miss Amanda has a Instagram account? And she was like, no, I didn't know that, like, whatever. And he was like, yeah, I was flipping through Instagram and all of a sudden I heard her voice and then I pulled it up and it was her and some lady talking about some podcast that they do. And so she was like, oh yeah, she does that with our friend Shannon, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. I didn't know she had an Instagram and a podcast, blah, blah, blah. So I thought it was so cute that he recognized me, like, just from my voice. And like, we are so cool now because people are aware we have a podcast and an Instagram. So
that is so cool. That is so cool.
But yeah, that was fun. Yeah, it was just cute. It made me feel good that I don't know that I would recognize someone's voice just flipping through. Like, he wasn't stopping on our video, obviously, because it wasn't something that interested him. So I thought it was cute that he recognized me by my voice. But
see, and it's a good thing we keep it PG.
That's right. That's right.
You're welcome.
So, but yeah, that was it. How about you?
I had some this has been a crazy week for work just because, I don't know, it's just been crazy busy and a whole bunch of stuff is changing. Like, we got 25 or 27 new forms on Thursday.
Oh my God.
And so we've been having a lot of trainings on them. And just a lot of really, really long days. And my daughter's had her last, oh, okay, so that's a good one. You know how she used to do that film camp?
Yeah.
And then it changed structures and she went one time and didn't like it.
Right.
Well, a couple months ago, we were at a resource fair and they were there. And I mean, we're still involved with the organization. That's who she gets her job coaching through. It's who she participates in a social group with. So we're still really involved. And they had a flyer on there about the camp for this summer. And she picked it up. And the person behind the table was like, do you think you'll come back? She goes, I think so. And so we signed her up and she started back on Monday and she's had a great time. So it'll be this week also. And then just work's been busy. I mean, I feel like the worst is because of how much I have to drive. Like I'm not getting my steps in.
I get it.
I was dead exhausted. And I looked at my watch and I went, no, it should definitely be more. And then I sat there and but I thought about it and I said, well, I easily did like 7 hours in the car today. So yeah, that's probably accurate. Or like either in the car or I was sitting in a meeting, which those have been about 2 hours long, or in my office working on this paperwork. So yeah, that's accurate. So I need to get back to that. But yeah, not really. I mean, I love what I do. So I mean, that's fun, but nothing overly interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
Yep. So yeah, join us on Thursday as we revisit Stone Kates so that you all can understand how wrong John Jagger is.
Absolutely. So have a good week.
And we'll meet you at the pier.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed today's show, we invite you to go to pier54podcast.com to subscribe on your favorite platform. Don't forget to leave us a review.
And you can also follow us on many social media channels. Just search for Pier 54 Podcast. Also, we are not perfect, so if there is something that we missed or messed up, just let us know by emailing us at pier54podcast@gmail.com.
LifeLock, how can I help?
The IRS said I
filed my return,
but I haven't.
1 in 4 tax-paying Americans has paid the price of identity fraud.
What do I do?
My refund, though. I'm freaking out.
Don't worry, I can fix this.
LifeLock fixes identity theft guaranteed and gets your money back with up to $3 million in coverage.
I'm so relieved.
No problem. I'll be with you every step of the way.
1 in 4 was a fraud-paying American. Not anymore. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.